Hello. Welcome to Diaspora Matters. My name is Casey. Today we'll talk about HCPC, that is Health and Care Professional Council. It is the umbrella body of about 15 professional bodies that wants to migrate or wants to work in the UK. So today we'll look at it one by one. So, the first of all, we'll list the possible or the bodies that are regulated by this HCPC. So, if you're an arts therapist or a dietitian or a clinical scientist or a paramedic or a medical laboratory scientist, otherwise known as medical laboratory technician or biomedical scientist, a physiotherapist or radiographer, or even a social worker, then this is for you. This is the first step of your migration process. What you need to do is to go to the website www.hcpc.uk.org. Open it up, go to international application page. You see some forms, three forms that you're supposed to download. The first one is your registration form. The second one is guidance for international application. And then the last one is HCPC course form. Now, this guidance is telling you things you need to do in the registration process. A lot of people put their hope and trust on the information they get from those who have done HCPC before. It is good, but it can also, be confusing, and it can lead to you prolonging the time you should have taken to, finish your HCPC registration process. If you can go through this guidance, which is about 4 or 5 pages. It gives you all the insight, all you need to know about HCPC. You don't need anybody to tell you much about it. You can, however, refer to people who have done it when you have challenge. Yes, they can give you, insight on how to go about it. But don't put your hope completely on it. This guidance will give you the steps you need to provide, exactly what you need to bring and how you need to provide it for your HCPC registration. So I encourage people to please go through this. It is very important. Go through it. Please do not put your trust completely on people who have done HCPC. It could be dangerous. HCPC registration has about two basic steps. The first step, after you have provided all that is required, that's the documentation and the registration, everything, you send it to HCPC via courier. It gets to HCPC, it takes about 90 days for HCPC to look at it. Once it is okay, all the documents are correct and available, they'll ask you to pay for scrutiny fee. You pay for scrutiny fee, it takes about 60 days again or less, or sometimes more, because of challenges of so many people in queue or because of COVID restriction. But at the end of the day, you'll now be asked, a link will now be created for you, and you'll be asked to pay for your license. Once you have done that, you are through with HCPC registration. You can start applying for job in any part of the world that you are. You can start applying for job in the UK. But if there are some missing documents or some documents that are not filled properly or not filled at all, it means that HCPC will demand for it, and the 90 days that is required for your scrutiny to commence will be elongated. That is the disadvantage. So it is better you go through properly, go through the guidance steps. It will help you a lot. Second document you see is course form. This course form is basically for schools. It's basically for your school to fill your course information and everything about you. So you download this document and send it to your school. Your school will fill it and return it back to you. And then you can now add it alongside other documents and forward it to HCPC. So this is basically not much of a work for the applicant. The only thing you need to do is to process it and follow it up. In some schools, I know you have to pay for these processes, but it is going to be faster compared to you doing it yourself. The basic one that you have to do yourself is the registration form. Now, in this registration form, there are different sections. Once you have downloaded this registration form, the first thing you will see is a question, where you have to click either yes or no. Have you previously applied for registration with HCPC or the Health and Care Council? Because you are new, it's mostly no. It will be yes if you have been active before but have been deregistered. Yes. And then you have to put in your application number then. But for a new applicant, it is usually no. And then you now see the list of the professional bodies that HCPC regulates or registers. Now, be very careful. In your country, the name of a profession might be different with that here. So you have to be very careful. Example, I know there are so many countries, it is called medical laboratory scientists. So many countries, or medical laboratory technologists in some other countries. But in the UK, it is called biomedical scientists. Please do not be tempted to click clinical scientists. Though they are the same, but they are similar, but they are completely different. So please take note of that. Then the next section you see, which is section 1, are information about yourself. It's actually self-explanatory. You write and fill those information appropriately. Where you see national insurance number, if you have, you put. If you don't have, you please put in your passport number, your international passport number. Remember that you must have if an active passport, international passport, before you begin this process to start with, because the passport is part of the things required for this process. Then you fill other information as regarded. Then we'll go to the second section. Second section is talking about your qualification. Who are you? Let us use biomedical scientist, for example, or medical laboratory scientist, for example. Now, there are two sections. If you are an English speaking country, if you studied in an English speaking country, the name you will write in its original language will be the same name you write in English because it's English. But if you study in French speaking country, for example, or in German speaking country, you write the name in Germany in its original language column, and then you now write the equivalent of the name in English. I hope that is clear enough. So please let us be sensitive. Then you now fill other information that is required of you. Please, where official email is required, put in official email. Do not put in a Gmail or a Yahoo or a personalized mail. Make sure you put in the official email. If you put in the Gmail or the personal mail of the person, it will take a longer time for the for HCPC to register you, because the process will require you sending a reply via email, via post rather, and then expecting a reply as well from HCP. So this process will be elongated. Good. Again, if you are a member, if you are fall under any of these professions, there's no need to add your BSc, your MSc rather. You can just use your BSc. If you add your MSc, it means that the number of people the HCPC are going to contact will be more. And what it means is that it will take a longer time for them to get a response, except if you have worked around it. Your first degree is okay if your first degree is in that profession that you want to pursue. But if your first degree is in a different profession, or it's not in the professional course, like let me give you an instance. Somebody who studied microbiology, for example, as first degree in BSc, and then now moves to masters in medical laboratory science, and is not towing that line of medical laboratory science, is going to go for BMS. So it means that you're going to put your first degree, you're going to fill in your first degree, and then put in additional degree. You put in additional degree. Okay? Put in additional degree, which will now be your BMS. Good. So in the third section, in section 3, you're going to fill in your current place of work. It has to be within, if it's BMS, for biomedical scientist or radiographer, you have to be practicing in that field already. That will give you an edge. So you put when you started and all the information required, you know, till present or when you finished. And then you will see some columns that will be asking for additional information. Please, that additional information is to for you to like explain to them what you did or what you were doing in that field. You say, we encourage you to provide additional information from your employer, your supervisor, separately to support the details provided in this section. So what it means is that you have to get an additional document from where you are currently working or where you just finished working. Now, it has to be in tandem with what you said you did. I mean the duties now. But this column has limitation. There are a number of words that you can put in here. So those number of words that you might not be able to put in here, make sure you put them in that additional document. And it should be in the letterheaded of that your current place of work and should be signed by your supervisor or manager or senior, whatever. So that is part of the addition. That is should be the main additional, requirement. The second form, you see form 2, it's talking about your internship. Those in this profession, most of the profession has internship after your service. So you give the details about your internship, where you did it, and all your professional body. You write the name and put the email as well. Then you put in another additional document of what you did during your internship as well. So the head of the department or the manager or the senior will have to sign that form again. Then you now have your professional regulatory and membership. If you are a BMS, for example, in Nigeria, it has to be your Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria. That's your regulatory body. So different countries has different bodies. You understand? So you are going to fill it there. Your RA number, that is your reference number in that body that you belong to. Everybody has a unique number or a reference number. Now, the essence of putting this here is HCPC contacts three main people. One, your school. You contact your school, of course, through the course form that the school will fill. The other people you contact is your current place of employment. You understand? To show, just to confirm if yes, you are actually who you say you are. And then the third place they will contact is your professional body. You have to be active member of your professional body. So I encourage you to have registered to have cleared your debt and be active for a period of at least a month before beginning this process. Why? Is because HCPC goes to the website. Most professional body has website now with active members or registered members. So they just go there and check if you are active. This is because most bodies like this, they take longer time in responding to HCPC mail. So HCPC usually don't send mail to them. They just go to the website with your reference number or your unique number or RA number or whatever number, your unique number. You check in the website to see if you are active. So if you are not active at that moment, it begins to drag your registration process with HCPC. That is why I encourage everybody, please be active for a period of at least 1 month before you begin this process, because adding the number of months or weeks it will take HCPC to begin, your active membership must have been updated in the database on the website of your body. So with that, HCPC will not need to contact the bodies again. They'll just check your membership and then they will take it, and that is it. So if you have more than one membership, right? Otherwise, the most current one where you are working is okay. Because I know a lot of people have membership with Canadian Society of Medical Laboratory Sciences, for example. At the same time, they are already in Nigeria working and are being regulated by Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria and other. They have no need for that second one, second body. The current one is okay, but if you still feel like adding it, it's not a crime. Then you have English language proficiency. HCPC is not particular about IELTS or TOEFLs, so it is an advantage right now. Once you have studied in English, you were taught and you did everything in English, all you need to do is to apply to your school to give you a letter stating that you were taught and you studied in English. That will serve. If you cannot get your school to do that, you can use simple handwritten to say that you, so and so person, studied and were taught in English language and all that, and you sign. That is just it. It is not that difficult. HCPC is not particular about art, so this is an advantage. If, however, you have art, you must have a score of at least 6.5 in each of the band, and have of either listening, speaking, reading, or writing. At least 6.5. So once you have that, you can put it. It's not a problem. Then I've already talked about scrutiny fee. Once all these documents are ready, you send to HCPC. Again, in this registration form, there is what they call checklist. This checklist helps you to tick out all the documents you have provided, like your ID card, your ID. Your ID need to be certified, and your ID is your international passport. That is your ID. Then your proof of address. Proof of address is usually your bank statement. It's usually your bank statement. That is the one they use, you know. And then your proof of name change, if you're a woman or someone who has changed name, you know, a passport photograph. There's a checklist where you need to check it, and usually at the end of all this, it helps you to make sure that you have done all you require to do. Now, there's certification. If you are submitting documents that are not original, it has to be certified. And the people who HCPC see as qualified to certify your document are listed in that guide for the completion or the filling of this form. That is why it's important for you to go and read it. They have notary, notary public, people, um, what do you call it, lawyers, top politicians, men of God, and all that. You have to go there and read it and get them. And exactly the what is required of them to write on each form that they are certifying is on that page. Let me take it again. If you are submitting forms that are not original, for example, the course form, you are submitting the original. The course form you are sending to school, you are submitting the original. So you don't need it certified. In any way, it has been certified because your school has signed and stamped it. So that's enough certification. This course form that you are filling right now, you are submitting the original. So you are not signing, nobody is signing, nobody is certifying anything because you are filling the original. But your means of identification, like your driver's, your international passport, this has to be certified. So you have to make photocopy, and a certification comment will be written on the photocopy which you are going to attach. Your additional documents you are going to send for your internship, for example, is going to be filled in letterheaded of that institution where you did your internship. So it's already certified and it's going to be signed. So it's already certified. You don't need to certify it. But your document like your BSc, you're not sending the original. So the duplicate you are sending need to be certified. I hope it's understandable. This checklist will also help you to guide you on the document that needs to be certified. So if you are submitting any document that is not original, it has to be certified, and the certification comment has to be written. And what needs to be written is on that guide, that document which you have to read. At the end of the day, once all these documents are ready, you've collected your course form from school. In addition with this form, registration form that you have filled, and other documents, you put them together and then you send them to HCPC via mail, speed post, so that it gets to them early. The address that you are going to send is on the top on the top of this registration form that you have been filling all the while. So you send it to them. Once it gets to them, you can track it in that process. Once it gets to them, you will now be counted down on when HCPC is going to contact you via email. HCPC is going to contact you via email. So it's good for you to always check your junk mail or your spam mail often. But remember, this process will take at least 90 days before they get back to you for to pay scrutiny fee. So I think HCPC is one of the professional bodies in the world that it's actually straightforward to feel and very easy, and they are actually humane. What I mean is by you are not paying anything until they have contacted you. And once they contact you to pay without asking you for any additional document, it means that you have fulfilled all they require. And in that case, you are over 80% done. You are over 80% sure of being registered. So those are the process. Please like and share this video for someone out there who might be passing through difficulties in filling, or applying for this HCPC registration. Once you have been HCPC registered, you can begin to apply for any of these positions in the UK. Like I said, it is your first step to migration. I am doing this video out of popular demand, and I wish it helps someone out there. Thank you very much. God bless you. Please continue to subscribe and share this video. God bless all of us.